This is James Mathers for the Digital Cinema Society, the NAB 2023. I'm here in the OWC booth, and Larry O'Connor and Farshid Tabrizi are going to tell us about all the new innovations. You always guys have a lot of new stuff to tell us about, so what do we got?
Well, we love to innovate, and you guys are driving us, further every year. And I mean, we do this for you. And Energize is really an exciting innovation that is, it's a first for SD cars and CF Express cars. Energize is the first application that lets you, is with our Atlas cards. It's also, this is innovation in our SC and CF Express Atlas as well, but we allow for sanitization. I'll just say sanitize. So you can make a card that's been used however many times, brand new with just a click of a button. Effectively restores it to factory fresh performance, as if it's never been used before. The other neat feature is health. Knowing that a card is good, it gives peace of mind. And being able to click a button and see what the health status, what that flash life is, really important. So it's not a mystery. It's not, hey, what's going on with the card? Usually a lot of cards get prematurely retired because of effectively garbage collects. They become dirty to a point where just an initialization on the computer is not enough to bring them back. And then you plug our card in. Even if you've never maintained our card, you say, I'm going to use Energize for the first time. Go, hey, this card is 90% healthy. I just need to sanitize it. Sanitize it, you're back to new, because we built that feature into our cards, into our readers, so you can do this. And the third thing that is absolutely, takes it up a whole other notch is field firmware update. With any of our Atlas cards and any of our OWC readers that are Energize enabled, which will include readers that go back even 5-6 years from OWC, because of firmware updates we're providing at no cost to enable those Energize command sets, you're able to keep your cards up to date. So when new firmware comes out for a camera you have, and suddenly a card might not work, we'll have a firmware update that takes care of that. A new camera comes out that the current cards aren't working with, a big problem today, and it does happen. Cards come out a year ago or 6 months ago. Here's the compatibility for that card. Everything's fine. New cameras come out that might require a little tweak to that firmware. A little bit difference in the SD card. There's not a new SD card that comes out. Compatibility gets updated from certain manufacturers, but you have a card that's from before that update. You're wondering why it doesn't work in the camera. In the case of Atlas, that should pretty much almost never happen, because if there's a new camera that comes out and there's a change that we make in an Atlas card to support something that's changed, when you plug it into Energize, it's going to tell you there's new firmware. You press a button, you're up to date. All your cards thus always work. It's not which new cards and old cards. You're future-proof to ensure that as long as the spec of that card is where it needs to be, you're not going to be looking at our compatibility chart and wondering if I have to buy a new card or does the card I have already do it? Because the card you already have will do it.
You guys are always so great about sustainability and not having to throw out old stuff. Farshid, what do you have to do with this project? Is this your brainchild?
Yes, since I joined about a year ago, I had this vision, and I was extremely excited that OWC offered so many different products, including docking station, obviously SSDs and travel docks. And I wanted to build an ecosystem around the whole solution, because I know professionals use and are proud of using OWC products. So I wanted to build a solution that included memory cards, but with the software, which is a glue that brings everything together. So today we also announced 2 new readers. Depending on the professional cameras that are introduced these days in the market, they either come in dual SD or they come in CFX SD card. Both of these readers, they have capability for the cable to be tucked in under it, so when you're on the go, you don't need to carry a cable. And when you come back in the home office, there's a USB port over here that allows you to connect it to your PC or to any host that you may have. It could be iPad. It also has a write protect switch, so if you have just come back from an important photo shoot and you want to make sure that you don't accidentally delete any cards or format any cards, the write protect switch is there to protect the content of the card that you just came back from an important event.
Makes a lot of sense. What other products do you have, Larry?
Well, we have our Jellyfish, which you're about to get a big time rundown on. We've got a new version of SoftRaid that now with Mac OS 13.3 and later, there's no security settings required. You just install and go. No fancy setup. Much more user friendly. We've got all these workflows around for archive. Everything literally from capture to completion We're always innovating, always bringing new. And I can't stop. I'm going to be honest with you. A few months ago, this Energize stuff, I was kind of, I'm not, in all fairness, I'm not out there in the field working with these cameras, working with the cars. And I thought, this is kind of cool. But it was really understood, what Farshid's vision was, which is really incredible. We can build the best hardware in the world. We can build SD cards and CFX cards to compete with everybody. That's, honestly, that was the easy part. That's right up our alley in terms of the solid state drives. Although I have to say that there's a lot more under the hood than a lot of people, including myself, get credit for. But what Farshid did, things are changing now to where the kind of bit race, the kind of data race that are happening with these cameras, the kind of load and demand that's being put on the cards. These cards a few years ago, you might never have a problem with a card, call it 4 or 5 years ago. The bottlenecks weren't the car. The cars were plenty fast and had capabilities way beyond what cameras demanded. Today, you got cameras that are pushing the envelope with cars that are pushing the envelope to do crazy, whether it's your photographer with super high speed, frame rates, capturing all those stills, or your videographer, capturing these new I'm going way into the weeds other than, you guys know this. I'm saying this from my own understanding because I just look at it. Bottom line is these cards, if you do not sanitize, you don't have the capability of sanitizing a card. You don't have the capability of doing a firmware. A few years ago, I know there was an issue with one very popular camera. They pushed out an update. All of a sudden, all these cards no longer worked. And they still had cards in the market that
wouldn't work with their new cameras.
Work with the new cameras. And they released new cards that took care of it, but you didn't know what you were buying. That was pretty rare then. Today, that's more the norm because things are changing so quick. A dirty card, or cars that get dirty, there's no management on these cameras to keep the cars clean. And the amount of data now you capture in a set, you get a few minutes of footage now on the highest capacity cars that some of the data rates are capturing, and you're doing that over and over again. These cars now need to be maintained, and quite frankly, Farshid helped us really leapfrog out there because this is something that has to be enabled on the card. It requires our ecosystem for the Atlas cards, readers that are Energize enabled, which again, you can update our older cars, our older readers, because we're not making you buy new readers and whatnot. You need our software and you need our cards because it's at a hardware level, at a software level on the cars that we're enabling these capabilities. You can't do it with these other cars, and these other guys, for whatever reason, have not done it. Farshid really put us ahead of the curve. We thought a year ago we were going to just come into the game with the best media cards in the market. Not only do we have the best media cards now, we've got the best ecosystem to keep you all running great, and knowing when you capture, it's going to be reliable, it's going to be fast, you're not going to have a failure that surprises you, jumps out. You're not going to have to replace a card before its life is done. And when you ingest, you're going to get the best speeds and the best performance. And it's more than just the card's always going to work. You're going to be able to keep that card effectively tuned and running at its best.
Well, thank you very much.
I go on and on and on. I'm sorry.
The good news is that we actually give all of this software for free to our customers because we want them to have the best experience leveraging our cards with the ecosystem that they have.
So it comes with the media.
It comes with the media, it comes with the readers. As long as you use that, as long as you use enabled products, everything works.
Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you much.